Now, as we've been reporting, a Rhode Islander is tied to the investigation into the marathon explosions. The widow of bombing suspect Tamerlan Tsarnaev grew up in North Kingstown. We've heard conflicting reports on just how much time the two spent together in her family's Rhode Island home. Within the last hour, we've learned more details from the woman's lawyers. Eyewitness News reporter Sean Daly is working that part of the story today. Joins us now live with the Providence Mobile Newsroom.
Yes, Patrick, the ripple effects of last week's bombings at the Boston Marathon are still being felt here in Rhode Island. About an hour ago, just less than an hour ago now, lawyers for the wife of the dead bombing suspect, as you just mentioned there, the older brother, spoke with news reporters here in Providence, not far from the State House. 24-year-old Catherine Russell Tsarnaev leaving her lawyer's office in Providence roughly 15 minutes before they read a prepared statement to news reporters about their client's connection to the suspected Boston Marathon bombers, the brothers Tsarnaev. Called Katie by her lawyers, Catherine Russell Tsarnaev married the older brother, Tamerlan Tsarnaev, in 2010.
She is fortunate enough to have the support of her loving family, and as they too struggle to come to terms with these events and the deep sorrow we all feel following the events of last week. Meanwhile, she is doing everything she can to assist in the ongoing investigation.
The injuries and loss of life to people who came to celebrate a race and a holiday has caused profound distress and sorrow to Katie and her family. The reports of involvement by her husband and brother-in-law came as an absolute shock to them all.
Katie grew up here in Rhode Island and has always remained close to her parents and sisters, as well as to her extended family.
As a mother, a sister, a daughter, a wife, Katie deeply mourns the pain and loss to innocent victims, students, law enforcement officers, families, and our community. In the aftermath of this tragedy, she, her daughter, and her family are trying to come to terms with this event.
Neither lawyer took questions after they read those two statements, but I was able to speak with Amato DeLuca briefly as he left the office shortly after going back into the office after reading the statements, and I tried to find out from him the degree to which his client, Katie now, he's using the word Katie, we've been using Catherine up until now, the degree to which Katie Russell is or is not cooperating with federal investigators. And he said to me, Sean, you've got the statement right there, and he pointed to it. I did have it right there in my hand. She is doing everything she can to assist with the investigation. He would not characterize that one way or the other as to whether that means she's cooperating. Live in Providence with the Mobile Newsroom, Sean Daly, Eyewitness News.
We have in-depth coverage of the marathon explosions on our website, WPRI.com. There you can find all the latest headlines on the investigation, plus details on Rhode Island's response to the attack and a timeline of deadly bombings that have taken place in the country over the past 4 decades.